All right.
Alright guys, my turn.
I have three.
We on the camera? I gotta see where we're at. You look centered. Alright, cool. Alright guys, so today we start our new semester of attacking from the back. So we're gonna start out working on a couple of positional notes, just of maintaining control of the back mount position. And then we're gonna lay out some conceptual ideas that I think are really critical to getting effective finishes from the back. Okay, so we start out with this. We start out with actual body mechanics. The first thing that we want to make sure we do when we have the background, I'm going to demonstrate this with an invisible opponent, and then I'll grab Mike for this, is I never want to have my hips in front of my shoulders. So meaning that if you drew a straight line from my hips to the ceiling, my shoulders should be in front of my hips, not behind that line, right? If you guys remember when we did the open guard passing semester, we actually talked about this a little bit at length, about the concept of if I can make their shoulders go behind their hips, they're really easy to tip backwards. Whereas if I'm here, right, simple demonstration is if I'm here and my hips are behind my shoulders, might just like push me over. I'm gonna try really hard. Yeah, really easy to push me over. So I put my hips behind my shoulders, push me over. Really hard. I'm not doing anything. I've now repositioned my alignment to where it's hard to push me over. So a place where a lot of people actually fail at the back mount is not even necessarily that they don't hold the seatbelt correctly, don't hold the hooks correctly. The truth about the seatbelt and the hooks is they are important, but like what they're serving to accomplish is not necessarily always the thing that's failing as to why your back mount is failing, if that makes sense, right? A lot of times, let's say I have your back mount, what happens is people get positioned like this, and they're here. Those are a really weak spot. And he just brings his feet close to his butt. He can drive me any which way he wants, right? He's taking me to the side, to the back, let's say we go back. Whereas if I bring my hips behind my shoulders, if he's driving into me, he kind of press in, so he's giving me some resistance. I can press back into him pretty good. The other thing that this does is it puts my sternum right about between his shoulder blades, which is where I want it. And I want my head basically so I can look inside his ear. I always like to think of this as like I want to be Master Yoda. The Empire Strikes Back. That's why you fail, right? You know. So I want to move to the X-wings and shit. So this is the position we're working for. So glued sternum to the shoulder blades, or between the shoulder blades, hips behind shoulders, not this. This is no good. Okay. So we have the basic parameters here, right? Pretty simple, right? Now we go into the seatbelt hooks. First thing I want to do with my hooks is, obviously I never want to cross my feet, and there's two reasons for this. Number one is the obvious, we all know, if he brings his legs over, he can break mine and break my ankles. A little ankle lock right there. The other thing about that, though, is it fails to accomplish the thing that the hooks are actually designed to accomplish. So everything you do has a purpose. If you think about jiu-jitsu as being each mechanical piece has a goal, and we're not just doing it just to do it. Why am I doing it? Well, the reason why I'm using the hooks is because I want to block his hips from rotating over, right? So in the sense that if I were to say, let's just say for the sake of argument, he has his weight on top of me, right? Well, you see how he drives up on top. The thing that's stopping him from rotating his hips and turning to face me are these hooks. So if I lock and break mine, even if my ankles were impervious to ankle locks, at this point, if he just starts taking his left foot and bringing it over his right foot, and his right foot behind his left foot, to, like say to turn your, yeah, exactly, then he's going to turn over. So the objective of the hooks is to stop the hips from rotating. Yeah, pretty simple, right? So the way I'm going to do that is not obviously by crossing, and I'm not going to hook the legs with my toes. If you have flexible ankles, you can kind of do this, but it's not really super strong. What I want is to clamp my feet in. So almost like I'm trying to like make like a harness. Yeah? That's what's going to really lock in stuff. Okay? And lastly, for my seatbelt, hugely important detail. I never S-grip. That's weak. Obviously, I can't do this with my fingers, but I never do like a grapevine kind of thing. Like a lace, that's really weak. Big detail, I never want to turn my palm down in the seatbelt. A lot of times, like I'm sure you guys that have been training a little while, you've had this thing happen where we throw the arm over. And that's because probably you have your palm facing down. If you guys notice when I turn my palm down, look at the direction my elbow faces. So now if Mike goes 2-on-1 on my left wrist, and he throws it over his head, right, he gets that over pretty easy. What I want to do instead is I want to hold an ice cream cone, and I want to stab him in the chest with it. You guys notice now my elbow isn't facing out there, is it? Facing up. And then I'm just going flipper grip over top. Mike, pull that over your wrist. A lot harder. Not using a lot more, not really using any more strength or anything. Just simply the leverage is superior. Okay. So these are the positional dynamics. My hips are behind my shoulders. My sternum is glued to his shoulder blades. I should be able to look into his ear, see if he's got lax. Advise him to talk to his clinician about it. Stab him in the chest with an ice cream cone, hold the seatbelt grip, and then hook my feet in tight. And this is like how I just hold this position, right? You guys actually think about this for a second, right? Mike, I'm going to let go, and I want you to just like walk out of here for a second. It's knees to elbows. I mean, outside of this is knees to elbows, right? This is the position. Your basic open guard situation, I just happen to have a human being in front of me. I wouldn't hold open guard like this, because that's stupid. I would hold open guard like that. So we're basically just using the same parameters to maintain a strong open guard, but to maintain a strong background. Now, that all makes sense, guys? Yeah? We run into a basic problem. Let me have your back. Okay, I have accomplished all of the positional indicators that I require. So based on that logic, I should be able to submit Mike really. Right, I have everything. I'm in the most dominant position in jiu-jitsu. I have that now. Mike, don't let me get a collar grip. Okay. Dan. Okay, wait a second. But everyone tells me, make sure you let go. Let's say I always have the choke hand on the bottom. So by doing that, that's going to prevent him from stopping me to get this collar and stuff, right? All right, let me get it. Go ahead. Stop. Well, Dan. The reason why it is hard for me to get a hold of a collar grip and choke my opponent from this back down position is because he knows that's what I'm going to try to do, right? If I'm sitting here in this back mount, I mean, I'm certainly not going to ankle lock it, right? I have pretty much, I'm going to try to get up here, I'm trying to get in here, and so on, okay? So, in order, or rather, so this brings up a really interesting concept that we want to take into our full semester for this background stuff. When people are stuck in a position, they will focus on defending the submission. And when people are being attacked for a submission, they will focus on escaping the position. Right? Meaning that in the same way that if he is stationary and he just like doesn't want me to get collar grips and stuff, he's going to be able to stop that pretty easily if I just go straight for him. Likewise, if I get my collar grips and I start going, and let's say Mike here just brings his back to the floor like we did in the drill earlier, and he gets over my leg, and he clears this grip, and he gets my arm over his head, well, I'm going to lose that way as well. If I can't continue to keep that back exposure. Does that make sense? Like, if I can't stay behind him and keep the threat continuing, he's going to think, escape the position. The second I get the choke grips in, and once I get the position, he's going to think, prevent the submission. And that is the difficult thing, which means that, when we reverse that, it's pretty simple. When our opponent is thinking defend the submission, we think position. And when our opponent is thinking position, transitioning out of positions, we attack for the submission. Very basic idea, right? Like, use their reactions to our advantage. So we're going to start out with a basic way to get the collar exposure. Then we're just going to practice these concepts for a minute, and we'll actually get to some finishes. So, I'm in the background. I have my good position. What I'm going to work for, now that I've established all this, is I am going to work to grab the blade of this hand. Okay? Very important I grab the blade of the hand, not the wrist, because Mike, straighten your arm out. All right, let's start it again. Okay. No. Hold on a second. I'm looking around though. That shouldn't work. Let's do that one more time. Go ahead. 100%. Damn. Okay, hold on a second. We'll grab the blade of the hand. Do that. It's a lot harder. It will not be able to do it. Not impossible, but very difficult. The way that they will always eventually find the escape route, there's one very simple escape route. Let me add your wrist. It's going down. Okay. So I'm going to use him thinking breaking out of this positional control I established by just grabbing the blade of the hand and pinning it to his chest. If I try to push this thing down, Mike can only push it down. Right? Well, now here we are. I'm trying to push this down. He's not letting me push it down, and it's not accomplishing the thing I want. So I'm going to play some reverse psychology. You know, I'm going to glue it to his chest. I want it up high because I want him to take it down low. And I transfer. Okay. We'll work on this catch in a second, but I want you. Basically, what I want you to think about doing is the second. Let me grab that hand, please. As he let's go real slow. As he goes down, I catch, open, and feed. Does that make sense? So one more time. I'm here. I say I have a seatbelt. I grab the blade of the hand, glue it to his chest. He pushes it down. Catch, open, and feed. I want my hands deep. Actually, don't worry too much about that yet. Just worry about getting inside the collar. And if I can, think about turning the lapel over. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? I know it's a lot of like just small information, but I wanted to front load that right away, so we're thinking through those parameters. So again, hips behind shoulders. Think about knees to elbows almost. Feet hooking in. Sternum to shoulder blades. I should be able to look inside his ear. Stab it with the ice cream cone and grab the seatbelt here. One side feels secure. I'm going to grab the blade of the hand and hold that to his chest. He should not be able to extend it outward. He will extend it down, in which case, catch and feed. Okay? Can you see any of that?
No, I think
Excellent. Let's partner up, work that out, and we'll move on from there. All right. 1, 2, 3.